Let me ask you a question. Have you ever wondered why some people succeed simply by stepping back, while others fail because they rush forward at the wrong moment? It sounds contradictory, even unfair. We're taught to be bold, decisive, aggressive, and determined. Society constantly repeats, push harder, move faster, never stop. But ancient wisdom says something different, something quiet, subtle, and far more powerful. The wise know when to step back. The foolish charge forward at the wrong time. So what does it truly mean to step back, and why is it a mark of intelligence rather than weakness? Number 1. The wise step back. The foolish rush forward. To understand this, we must first see that life is not a straight battlefield where the strongest always win. Life is a flowing river. Those who force the river are dragged by it. Those who harmonize with it learn to steer. Stepping back is not surrender, it is strategy. It is the art of observing before acting, of breathing before speaking, of listening before judging. The wise step back because they understand the rhythm of life. They know that not every moment is meant for movement. Some moments demand stillness. Some battles are won not by the sword, but by patience. Some doors open only when we stop banging on them. When a wise person steps back, they are not retreating, they are repositioning. When a foolish person rushes forward, they are not advancing, they are colliding. Ask yourself this: how many mistakes in your life came from rushing? How many regrets were born from reacting too quickly? How many relationships cracked because someone spoke before thinking? How many opportunities slipped away because you moved without understanding? Rushing forward is not bravery, it is blindness, and blindness always leads to pain. Stepping back, however, requires strength. It requires humility and clarity. It requires the courage to say, "Not now. I need to see more. I need to wait." If impatience is the fire of destruction, then patience is the shield of wisdom. When you step back, you gain perspective. When perspective expands, wisdom appears. And when wisdom appears, the right action becomes obvious. Think of the archer. To shoot forward, he must first pull the bowstring back. The backward motion is not loss of force, it is the preparation for greater force. Life works exactly the same way. Sometimes stepping back is the only way to move forward with power, clarity, and accuracy. Many people misunderstand this. They think stepping back means losing ground. They think waiting means stagnation. They think patience means weakness. But the wise do not care about appearances, they care about outcomes. What looks like retreat today becomes advantage tomorrow. What looks like silence now becomes victory later. Let us look deeper. Why do foolish people rush forward? Because rushing feels like action. Because noise feels like progress. Because speed feels like strength. Because impatience feels like courage. But all of this is illusion. Noise without direction is chaos. Speed without awareness is danger. Courage without wisdom is destruction. A foolish person chases movement. A wise person chases meaning. A foolish person acts to satisfy the ego. A wise person acts to serve the purpose. A foolish person wants immediate results. A wise person wants lasting results. When the wise step back, they are reading the situation. They are watching the behavior of others. They are observing the emotional landscape. They are studying the consequences. They are doing the quiet work that determines success. And because of that, they move when others hesitate. They choose when others fear. They strike when the moment is perfect. Their timing is not impulsive, it is intelligent. Their action is not loud, it is precise. This is the essence of wisdom, to know when to move, when to pause, and when to wait. Life is full of storms, and even the strongest ship cannot sail blindly into every wave. A captain who rushes forward in all weather conditions is not brave, he is reckless. The real master knows when to lower the sails, when to turn the boat, and when to anchor until the storm passes. So let me ask you again. Are you stepping back because you are afraid or because you are wise? Only you can answer this. But remember, those who master timing master life. Those who understand patience understand power. And those who step back at the right moment will always go further than those who rush without thinking.
2. The value of knowing when to step back. True wisdom has never been defined by how loudly a person speaks, nor by how boldly they rush forward. Wisdom reveals itself in the rare ability to pause, to withdraw, to observe the rhythm of a situation before deciding the next movement. This capacity to step back at the right moment is not a gesture of cowardice, but a sign of maturity, restraint, and deep understanding of life's hidden flows. A wise person knows that life is not a battlefield where every confrontation must be met with equal or greater force. Instead, it is a landscape of currents, some gentle, some violent, some deceptive. Charging blindly into every conflict does not prove bravery. It only proves blindness. Knowing when to step back is the art of preserving energy, safeguarding dignity, and maintaining clarity. It is the recognition that timing is more powerful than impulse, and perspective is more valuable than pride. When a person steps back, they gain distance. When they gain distance, they gain vision. And with vision comes understanding that would have been invisible at close range. Many of life's troubles originate not from the complexity of the world, but from our refusal to give ourselves the space needed to understand it. By stepping back, the wise do not lose. They position themselves to see the whole field, to understand the nature of the situation, and to choose the path that leads to long-term peace instead of short-term victory. Stepping back also prevents unnecessary harm. Words spoken in haste strike deeper than intended. Decisions made in anger carry consequences that linger far beyond the moment. Reacting too fast traps us in the fire of our own emotions, while stepping back cools the flames before they burn what we cherish. Emotional clarity is a treasure, and no one can acquire it while standing in the storm of their own reactions. One step back can prevent one lifetime of regret. Wisdom is also the capacity to remove oneself from battles that do not matter. Many people waste their strength proving points to those who cannot understand them, fighting over opinions that will not change, or arguing in places where ego, not truth, is the real opponent. A wise person knows the difference between a meaningful conflict and a meaningless one. They choose their battles with intention, not impulse. Stepping back is not passive, it is strategic. It gives space for others to reveal themselves, for circumstances to mature, for truth to surface. Life often resolves itself when we stop forcing it. When we step back, we allow the natural progression of events to unfold, and in that unfolding, clarity appears. The wise understand that not everything requires intervention. Some problems dissolve when ignored. Others soften when given time. And some battles are won simply by refusing to participate. In contrast, the foolish rush forward because they cannot bear the silence of waiting. They mistake movement for progress. They mistake speed for intelligence. They mistake aggression for strength. They are driven by impatience, ego, and the intoxicating illusion that immediate action equates to power. Yet the world consistently reveals the truth: the ones who rush in blindly often fall first. The ability to step back also nurtures inner peace. A person who does not constantly fight with the world, who does not react to every provocation, who does not feel the need to confront every challenge, such a person carries calmness wherever they go. Their presence becomes grounding. Their decisions become steady. Their relationships become healthier. Peace is not the absence of hardship, but the presence of clarity. And clarity is born from restraint. There is a kind of strength that comes from holding back, not because you cannot act, but because you understand that action is unnecessary. There is a kind of dignity in silence, not because you are defeated, but because you refuse to be diminished by triviality. There is a kind of victory in walking away, not because you are weak, but because you choose peace over ego. In this world, the wise protect their energy. They step back not to surrender, but to evaluate. They wait not because they fear the outcome, but because they trust in the importance of timing. They hold themselves with the quiet confidence of those who understand life's deeper patterns. To know when to step back is one of the highest forms of intelligence. To step back requires self-control, insight, and the courage to rise above the immediate moment. Those who master this art navigate life with fluidity, grace, and resilience. They do not waste themselves on needless battles. They do not let ego dictate their path. They choose wisely, move wisely, and live wisely. And in doing so, they transform their lives, not through force, but through understanding.
3. The final insight, the wisdom of knowing when not to fight. There comes a moment in every life when strength is no longer measured by how fiercely we push forward, but by how gracefully we know when to stop. A moment when the world is loud, heated, demanding that we choose a side, take action, defend ourselves, prove something. But the truth that the ancients discovered is simple. Not every battle deserves your sword. Not every moment demands your rise. And not every fire needs your breath to grow. Part 3 is the deepest layer of this teaching. If Part 1 asked the question, what does it mean to step back wisely? And Part 2 explored the value of timing and restraint, then Part 3 becomes the answer that ties everything together. Wisdom is the art of preserving your inner world in a world constantly trying to pull you into chaos. Because what is a step back if not a choice to protect your peace? What is restraint if not the discipline to refuse the path that leads to harm? What is patience if not the shield that prevents unnecessary wounds? The wise know this. Every step forward has a cost, every confrontation leaves a mark, and every impulse leaves a trail that must be lived with long after the moment passes. So before moving, before speaking, before reacting, they breathe. They wait. They watch. Not out of fear, but out of strength. Not from indecision, but from clarity. To step back at the right moment is to look beyond pride and beyond the need to win. It is to understand that victory is meaningless if it destroys your inner world, your relationships, your peace, or your integrity. A wise retreat is not an escape. It is an investment. You give up one moment so you may gain a future. You lose an argument to preserve a bond. You'll hold your anger to avoid saying something that can never be taken back. You step away today so you may step forward tomorrow, stronger, cleaner, clearer. In contrast, the foolish rush in emotionally, impulsively, blindly. They see conflict and treat it as a calling. They see pressure and treat it as a test of ego. They see disagreement and treat it as war. But this rushing, this diving forward at the wrong moment is not courage. It is immaturity disguised as bravery, fear disguised as strength, insecurity disguised as decisiveness. To act without seeing the whole field, to fight without knowing the cost, to speak without tasting the weight of one's own words, that is how people ruin opportunities, relationships, reputations, and peace. Wisdom, therefore, is not found in dramatic gestures, but in stillness. Not in loud victories, but in quiet survival. Not in conquering others, but in mastering the self. This is the ultimate truth. The person who knows when not to fight cannot be defeated, because they do not stumble into traps. They do not exhaust themselves on meaningless battles. They do not burn bridges they will need tomorrow. They do not lose themselves trying to prove something to someone who will not matter later. To step back is to choose the long term over the short term, the whole path over a single moment. To restrain yourself is to trust that your life is bigger than this fight, this insult, this impulse. And the ultimate form of wisdom is knowing that peace is worth more than pride, and clarity is worth more than conquest. So let this be the final teaching of this message. You do not become wise by winning. You become wise by understanding what is worth winning. Sometimes the greatest step forward begins with a single step back. Sometimes the strongest person in the room is the one who refuses the battle everyone else is eager to start. Sometimes the most powerful choice you can make is to walk away. If these words resonated with you, if you've ever stepped forward too fast or stepped back too late, if you want to cultivate clarity, timing, restraint, and inner wisdom, then stay with me on this journey. Your peace is your power. Let's grow it one insight at a time.